Hey everyone, it's Tony DiTerlizzi, author and illustrator of books for young readers. I'm here at my home, and chances are you're probably at home as well. I'm actually in my studio where I make a lot of my books, and I use my imagination a lot. It's kind of like my superpower. You could use your imagination too to come up with all kinds of neat things to do to pass the time while you're at home. My imagination came in very handy for this book that I created a few years back. It's one of my favorites, and it's called Ted. It's about an imaginary best friend whose name is Ted, and a young boy who suspiciously looks a lot like a younger version of me. Now, before I begin this book, I have to read a warning, and it's printed right on the back. The warning says, "The antics in this book are performed by a professional best friend. Don't try this stuff at home unless you have someone you can blame it on." In this case, probably Ted. Now, you'll also notice there's a banner that goes across the front of the book, which actually turns out to be a roll of toilet paper, which I actually wish was a real roll of toilet paper right now. Anyway, this is Ted, written by yours truly and illustrated by yours truly. And it starts with this opening image. You'll see the young boy here on his couch and someone very happy looking through the window. Let's see what happens. Ted blew into my house one Saturday morning. He didn't even knock. I was eating cereal and, as usual, my father was in his study. "Hello, birthday boy," Ted bellowed. "Where are the raspberries?" "Sorry," I said. "You have the wrong house. My birthday was last week." "Oh," he frowned, then smiled. "I'm Ted, and raspberries are my favoriteest food. They help keep me pinkish-purpley. Do you have any?" He looked harmless enough, so I found him some raspberries and sat down to finish my cereal. "So, what's next, birthday boy?" So here's Ted coming into the house, wearing his birthday hat. I shrugged, but then I remembered my birthday gifts. "I'll be right back." A minute later, I returned with Monopoly under one arm and Twister under the other. "My father gave me these for my birthday, but we haven't had a chance to play them yet." "Well then, let's party," Ted boomed. And so we did. We ate raspberry cereal and played Monopoly Twister. I knew this would be the beginning of a fantastic friendship. And there they are, playing Monopoly Twister. Have you played Monopoly? Or Twister? Or Monopoly Twister? Or Monopoly Clue Twister? Or Monopoly Bananagrams Clue Twister? That would be fun. When I told Father about Ted, he gave me one of his funny looks. "An imaginary friend, huh? I had one of those back when I was your age. Just try not to get into any trouble." And there's Ted and the boy and his father. Do you think the father can see Ted? I don't think so either. A few days later, I asked my father to take us to the movies. Ted thought I should look my best. "First things first, you take your bath, and I'll give you a shave and a haircut." "But kids my age don't shave." "Didn't you just have a birthday?" Ted said. Oh, that's right. Ted was a genius. And there's Ted in the tub with the boy, coming up with more schemes. So many schemes. Once I was out of the tub, Ted lathered my face real good and gave me a shave. Then he glued bits of toilet paper to my face. "What are these?" I asked. "Tissue plugs," said Ted. "They'll keep your beard from growing back too quickly." Oh, so that's why Father does it. Then it was time for my haircut. I grabbed a chair and sat in front of the mirror. Ted tied a towel around me and snippy snap. I looked like $1,000,000. So there's the boy getting his haircut in the makeshift barber shop. Did he look like $1,000,000? Father didn't think so. How could you do this?" he asked. "Ted helped me. Don't you think he did a great job?" "Son, Ted didn't do this. You did." My father then spent the next 4 hours explaining the difference between real and imaginary friends. I ended up at the barber where I got the haircut my father picked out, and we never made it to the movies. So there's the boy and his dad. You can see the tissue plugs, professionally applied with glue. "I don't think my father believes in you," I said to Ted after the haircut thing. "No," he gasped. "He must. He has to. Still, I didn't think so, but I had an idea. Maybe we should paint him a picture of you, I suggested. Ooh, we could do a big, humongous, life-size picture of me. I bet that would show your father. But what do we do it on, I asked. I didn't have any paper that was as humongous as Ted. The walls, silly, he replied. They're so blank and boring and wishy-whoosh. It was a masterpiece. Is it a masterpiece? Some would say yes. Some might not. Let's see what Dad thinks. Nope, Father didn't think so. He couldn't believe how much of a mess I'd made by myself in one afternoon. That's when I reminded him about Ted. I've had about enough of this Ted character, Father said. Now go get washed up. You're going to bed early while I clean up this disaster area. I don't think my father even looked at our pictures. Oof, not good. It'll get better now. I'm positive. When did your father become such a stuffy pants? Ted asked the following afternoon. And what do adults do for fun anyways? I started listing all the things my father didn't have time for anymore. When I got to swimming, Ted's eyes lit up like marshmallows. Let's make him a swimming pool. I wasn't sure if the pool was a good idea, especially after the painting disaster and the haircut thing, so I had a few questions. How do we make a pool? Where do we get the water? And the thing I wondered about the most, where are we going to put a pool? Ted had everything covered. More scheming. We'll see how it goes. It's easy, he explained. We use the garden hose, bring it in through the window, and splishy splosh. We could even put it in your father's study. An indoor swimming pool. We'd be the only house on the whole block to have an indoor swimming pool. I held the hose. Ted turned on the water. My father's gonna love this. There they are. Listen, you may be at home and bored. I don't know if an indoor swimming pool is the best solution, although it would be fun. Yeah, I don't think the dad thinks so. Even though they built a diving board, even though they got a beach ball and a rubber ducky, that dad doesn't look happy. My dad made that face a lot. My father was beside himself. I've had enough. I forbid you ever to play with Ted again. No more Ted ever. After we drained the house, Ted told me it was time for him to go. Where will you go? I asked. Back home, he replied, to the old playground. The whole next day, all I could think about was Ted. I felt pretty sad and alone. So I packed my Monopoly, my Twister, my cereal, and raspberries, and I ran away to live with him. My father was still so steaming mad, he didn't even notice me slip out. So I left a note. Dear Dad, I went to go live with Ted at the old playground. Please do not worry. There's Ted. There's the note. When I found Ted, I explained why I'd run away. Oh, don't blame your father, he said. Sometimes when people grow up, they forget how to have fun. Your father told me that when he was your age. My father? Yep, but to him I wasn't Ted, I was Ned. The times we had playing Space Pirates. In fact, your father buried his atomic blaster right here under this very slide. You knew my father too? I was amazed. There's Ted under the slide. Suddenly, there was a flashlight in my face. You shouldn't have run off. I was worried about you. It was my father. You were? Of course I was. I'm your dad. Now come on, we're going home. But Dad, what about Ted? I asked. My dad stopped. There is no Ted, son. But there is, I said. You used to play Space Pirates together, except you called him Ned. He even knows where you buried your atomic blaster. My dad was stunned. Ned? My atomic blaster. My father, he forbid us to play, and I lost it somewhere. It's okay, Dad. Dad says you buried it right here underneath the slide. He's right. I remember. and we started digging. There's the dad and the boy and Ted. And if you look very close, there's a tiny little drawing underneath the slide. It's been there for so long. There it was, a bit rusty in spots, but it still lit up Dad's face. The atomic blaster had been found. My dad gave me a great big hug, and then he looked right at Ted. Ned, it's so good to see my raspberry lemon pal again, Dad grinned. And then he looked at me. Have I ever shown you how to play Space Pirates? No. Have I shown you how to play Monopoly Twister? So guess what? We all went home and we played one mean game of Space Pirates Monopoly Twister. Here they are going home. Here they are having fun. I hope you're having fun as well at home. And I'll see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.